Our third Children's Laureate is Julia Donaldson, and she is our current Children's Laureate. Julia worked in publishing and as a teacher, while also writing and performing songs and street theatre with her husband Malcolm, who's here tonight, and writing and directing 2 musicals for children. She then combined a career writing songs for children's television with bringing up a family. In 1993, one of her songs, A Squash and a Squeeze, was made into a book. Since then, she has written more than 100 books and plays for children and teenagers, including the award-winning rhyming stories The Gruffalo, Room on the Broom, The Snail and the Whale, Zog, and The Highway Rat, all illustrated by Axel Scheffler, which are among the UK's best-selling books. Julia has also worked with other illustrators, among them Lydia Monks, Nick Sharrett, and David Roberts, and has written several young fiction titles and a novel for teenagers, Running on the Cracks, published in 2009. Can you please welcome Julia Donaldson?
I came in wearing my medal because I'm the reigning Children's Laureate, so I'm allowed to wear this medal. I always do wear it when I'm with children. I don't usually wear it with adults because children like kind of nice, solid things like medals. And I try to explain what the Children's Laureate is. And what I usually say is that my job for 2 years is to try to encourage or inspire every child in the country to enjoy reading and books. And I think probably, broadly speaking, that's what Michael and Anthony and all the other laureates would say is one of the most important parts of the role. But of course, we all go about it in different ways, and we've got different priorities. So Michael did his wonderful storytelling. Anthony, we've just been seeing the inspiring shape game. In my own case, my background, as John mentioned, is kind of music and drama. And in fact, busking was really where it all started. And Malcolm, my husband, has just retired from his job as a doctor, so he is able to be here today. And so we're going to go back to our busking days. Where are you, Malcolm? He's got his guitar here. Oh, you're there. Right, okay. And also because I thought, as it's an international congress, this song is in Italian, because what we used to do, whatever country we were in when we were busking, I would try to write a song in that language. And for this song, we went to all the different restaurants in Siena and looked at the menus, and this song is called the Spaghetti song, but we're only just going to sing you the chorus of it because we haven't got very much time, okay?
Sorry, my guitar's got out of tune, Julia. Just keep on busking and chatting.
Okay, well, really, in this song, is there anyone Italian here? Hands up, anyone Italian or who speaks Italian? Not very many. Okay, I better do a little translation. Really, there's a lot of names of pasta, which you will recognize. Basta means enough, and non ne posso più means I can't eat anymore. Okay. Lasagna, tagliatelle, vermicelle, pappardelle, ravioli, e cannelloni, e macaroni. Spaghetti al burro, all'olio, all'aglio, al sugo, al brodo, al ragù. E basta la pasta, e basta la pasta, e non ne posso più. That's just a chorus. So really, it might sound a bit silly singing a busking song, but actually that was how my own career started, because I started writing these songs, and I so enjoyed performing and writing songs that I sent a tape of songs to a children's television program, and they started commissioning me to write songs, and one of my first book, A Squash and a Squeeze, did start off as a song. Since then, although I have written books for all sorts of other ages, I've actually written a phonic reading scheme as well. I've written plays, I've written a teenage novel. I think in my heart, I'm still really a songwriter and a performer. So when I came to be the Children's Laureate, I knew that one of my priorities was going to be drama and music. Not just because I enjoyed it myself, actually, but because over the, I forget how many years, probably I've been writing books for about 15 years before I became the Children's Laureate. And every time I go into a school or a library, I do get the children performing and acting and taking parts in the story. And I find that, well, they love it, so it must be good, you know. I'm sure it probably does them a lot of good. I'm not exactly sure what good it does them. I think for a lot of children, actually, it is a way into stories. A lot of children who perhaps don't have books in their home and think of books as something boring, when they get a go at being someone in a story, you know, that is a way of understanding that story and finding a route into the book. So I knew that drama was going to be one of my big things as Children's Laureate. Another thing which I really, really care, and I know the word passionately is very overused these days, but I do really care passionately about libraries. And like so many people, I was really sad and shocked about what's been happening to libraries in the UK, because there have been so many cuts, there have been so many closures. And what really annoys me is it's often dressed up as being somehow innovative, somehow, oh, it's good to just have libraries run by volunteers. It's part of the big society. I mean, of course, it's better having a library run by volunteers than not having a library. But Malcolm and I have just been performing in France in a very little library in a small town called Romagné. And they were so proud in that library, which had always been run by volunteers. They were so excited because at last they'd got a professional librarian. And in this country, we're going in the opposite direction. And so often you hear politicians saying, oh, it's vibrant, 21st century, something or other, which is just, you know, rubbish. It's just kind of, it's just a euphemism for cut. So I knew that drama and libraries were going to be important, and I felt I knew a fair bit about them. Another thing which I've always been interested in is deafness and stories for and about deaf children. And that's partly because my own hearing's not very good and I wear hearing aids myself. Also, I just love watching sign language. We've often had a signer on the stage with us when we've done shows, and I've always been fascinated by that. So that was more something which I didn't feel very knowledgeable about, but I wanted to get involved in. So those really were my three aims just over a year ago when I became the Children's Laureate. So now, what I've actually done? Well, on the drama front, I've been initiating quite a few projects. One of them is a website for teachers. It's going to be called picturebookplays.com. It's going to be going live in September. And it's a website to give tips to teachers primarily about how to dramatize picture books, how to turn them into plays with their classes. I've also written a lot of very short plays, and I've commissioned other authors to write some very, very short plays for reading groups in schools to read, because I think reading a little play is a brilliant way of improving your reading, because you just start to read with expression, you start to be those characters. So I've got, that's going to be published in January, the series of short plays. I think I'm going to need Malcolm, oh, Malcolm is lurking on the stage, because I've also got another sort of drama, performance project on the go. It's going to be a book called Poems to Perform, and it's to qualify as a poem to be in this book. Each poem has to be able to be spoken by more than one voice. So it wouldn't count as a poem to perform if it was just, say, a comic monologue. It has to be for more than one voice. And well, we're going to just give you two little snippets, a very, very simple babyish, I suppose, poem, which is in the book, because it was one of my childhood favourites. I set it to music, so that one goes like this. Oh.
Mousy, mousy, where is your wee housey?
Here is the door under the floor, says mousy, mousy.
Mousy, mousy, can I come into your housey?
You can't come in, you have to be thin, says mousy, mousy.
Mousy, mousy, will you come out of your housey?
I'm sorry to say, but I'm busy all day, says mousy, mousy. So that's good.
You've got the squeak.
Oh, squeak, I forgot the squeak. And then some of the poems are a lot kind of older than that. This is just the beginning of one by W.H. Auden.
Oh, what is the sound that so thrills the ear? Down in the valley, drumming, drumming.
Only the scarlet soldiers, dear. The soldiers coming.
Oh, what is that light I see flashing so clear over the distance, brightly, brightly?
Only the sun on their weapons, dear, as they step lightly.
Oh, what are they doing with all that gear? What are they doing this morning?
Only the usual manoeuvres, dear, or perhaps a warning.
Oh, why have they left the road down there? Why are they suddenly wheeling?
I've forgotten this bit.
Perhaps a change in orders, dear.
Perhaps a change in their orders, dear. Why are you kneeling? I'm sorry, I ruined the dramatic effect of that. Sorry about that. Sorry, Malcolm. Some of the poems, though, aren't conversation poems. They're more like ones where you can divide up the verses between individual voices and have the whole class doing a rollicking chorus. So those are some of my drama things I've been doing. Libraries, well, I've decided that the best thing for me to try and do about libraries was by A, visiting them, and B, somehow celebrating them. I have added my voice to all the campaign, well, not all, there's lots of campaign groups doing wonderful work, and sometimes really successfully, like in Gloucestershire, they managed to, with no help from central government, but they managed to save half the libraries that had been going to be cut by taking the local authority to court. So I did, support them, but I kind of have come to realize I just can't sign every single petition, support every single library that's under threat. So what I've been doing, I've been visiting a lot of libraries, and I'm about to set off on a 6-week tour of libraries from John O'Groats in the very north of Scotland to Penzance, the sort of southwest tip of England. And we're going to be visiting lots of libraries with Malcolm, and I thought it would be nice to combine the libraries theme with the drama theme. So what's going to happen is that in each library that I visit, a class or 2 classes of children are invited, and they have to start off the session by performing something to me. So it can be a poem, a song. I'd love it if it's a picture book, because that's my real passion. I've said passion again, so yeah. So they're going to start by performing to me. And we thought we'd give you an example of the kind of thing, the way a picture book can be so simply dramatized. And we're going to use my first book, A Squash and a Squeeze. I'm going to have some volunteers, and I thought that as it's an international congress, I might try and get people from 4 different, well, at least 4 different countries, if not 4 different continents. I'm going to be the old lady in the story, and Malcolm's the wise old man out in the garden over there. So I need to have a hen, a goat, a pig, and a cow. So, right, I think I might start by getting someone from just from the UK. Sorry to be boring. I'll get just someone from home to get the ball rolling. as a hen. And if no one volunteers, I'm going to just volunteer some. Oh, we've got a volunteer. All right, would you like to come and be the hen? Lovely. All right, big clap for the hen. So the hen, if you just come on stage this side, perhaps. Right, the goat, could we have someone perhaps from a different continent, not someone who's not from Europe, who would like to act a goat? I've seen some very nice people from South America who I thought would be very good. All right, one of you, I can't see you very clearly, but you sort out among yourselves, one of you. So, so we've got Marjorie from the UK as a hen. Here comes the goat, who I think is from Argentina, maybe. Yes, big clap for the goat from Argentina. So, well, we'll maybe have, so we've got either Asia, if you're either from Asia or Africa, and you'd like to be, oh no, perhaps Asians. Well, I'll say, perhaps if you're from Europe or Africa, you could be the pig. All right, who'd like to be a pig? Oh, hold on. All right, here we are. Yes, you, yes. You. Oh, sorry. All right, over here. Yes, lovely. Big clap for the pig from Africa, I think. Brilliant. And then lastly, I will have, if there's someone from Asia who would like to act the cow, who's dancing a cow, who would like to be a cow from Asia? Yes, have we got one? Yeah, excellent. All right, so I think you just have to listen to the words of the song and you'll kind of realize what you've got to do. Okay, there's a chorus for everyone to join in. Oh, I have to say, so you don't think I'm being totally frivolous. I mean, this seriously is a lovely thing to do with children. And if I had lots of children here, I would have them in a big circle being the walls of the house. And I'd have a sort of archway here. And the chorus goes like this. Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze. Can you sing it? Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze. Just one more time. Wise old man, won't you help me, please? Okay. A little old lady lived all by herself with a table and chair and a jug on the shelf. A wise old man heard her grumble and grouse. There's not enough room in my house. She said, wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze.
Taken your hen,
said the wise old man. Taken my hen, what a curious plan. Well, the hen laid an egg on the far side rug, then flapped round the room, knocking over the jug. The little old lady cried, what shall I do? It was pokey for one, and it's tiny for two. My nose has a tickle, and there's no room to sneeze. My house is a squash and a squeeze. And she said, wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze.
taken your goat,
said the wise old man. Taken my goat, what a curious plan. Well, the goat chewed the curtains and trod on the egg, then sat down and nibbled the table leg. The little old lady cried, woe is me, it was tiny for two and it's titchy for three. The hen pecks the goat and the goat's got fleas. My house is a squash and a squeeze. And she said, wise old man, won't you help me please? My house is a squash and a squeeze.
taken your pig,
said the wise old man. Taken my pig, what a curious plan. So she took in the pig, who kept chasing the hen, who was still chasing the goat. Make the noises. and raiding the larder again and again. The little old lady cried, "Stop, I implore! It was Titchy for 3 and it's Teeny for 4. Even the pig in the larder agrees. My house is a squash and a squeeze." And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze."
Taking your cow,
said the wise old man, "Taking my cow, what a curious plan." So she took in the house. We kept chasing the pig, then jumped on the table and tapped out a jig. The little old lady danced, and heavens alive, it was Teeny for 4 and it's Weeny for 5. I'm tearing my hair up, I'm down on my knees. My house is a squash and a squeeze. And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze."
take them all out,
said the wise old man. "But then I'll be back where I first began." So she opened a window and out flew the hen. "That's better, at last I can sneeze again." Choo! She shooed out the goat, not out of the window, and she shoved out the pig. My house is beginning to feel pretty big. She huffed and she puffed and she pushed out the cow. Just look at my house, it's enormous now. Thank you, old man, for the work you have done. It was weeny for 5, it's gigantic for 1. There's no need to grumble and there's no need to grouse. There's plenty of room in my house, and now she's full of frolics and fiddle-dee-dees. It isn't a squash and it isn't a squeeze. Yes, she's full of frolics and fiddle-dee-dees. It isn't a squash or a squeeze. I have been more responding to what people have come and told me is going on, and it's wonderful some of the projects there are. Like there's a day called Sign to Sing. Does anyone know about Sign to Sing? It's a day when everyone in the UK and maybe in other countries sings and signs. I can't do signing, but I did learn how to sign this particular song on the same day. And it's more hearing children that do it, not just deaf children. So it's bringing awareness of deafness to children in schools all over the country. And I've been just asked to help some children, child poets actually, who are deaf and who've already written 2 books of poems, to write a picture book. And I'm going to do that with an artist. So it's lovely being the laureate that you can just get involved in projects that are already ongoing. You don't have to initiate everything. We're just going to finish, again, because I know the theme, I've written it down, because I love those words, translations and migrations. The Gruffalo has been translated into lots of languages, and I haven't visited as many countries, I don't think, as Michael or maybe Anthony did during their laureateships, but we've done a German tour performing the stories in German, and a French one performing stories in French. And recently there's been a Scots translation of the Gruffalo, which is absolutely wonderful, which we've done at the book festival. So we're going to attempt the Gruffalo, the half of the Gruffalo, in a medley of languages. And I'm going to be the little mouse. I think I've got the mouses. This is why I brought this bag of props onto the stage. Right. Okay, so my tail. It's quite good with children when you want them to act, to have a little something, because some shy children, they kind of really come out of their shells when they have just a little, it could be just a little scarf or a little something. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. Die Maus spazierte im Wald umher. Der Fuchs sah sie kommen und freute sich sehr.
Hallo, kleine Maus. Wohin geht die Reise? Bei mir im Bau gibt's gute Speise.
Schrecklich nett von dir, Fuchs, doch ich sage leider nein. Ich muss schon zum Mittag beim Gruffalo sein.
Beim Gruffalo? Sag, was ist das für ein Tier?
Den kennst du nicht? Dann beschreibe ich ihn dir. Er hat schreckliche Haue und schreckliche Klauen und schreckliche Zähne, um Tiere zu kauen.
Wo triffst du ihn denn?
Gleich hier bei dem Stein. Und Fuchs spießt zu Mittag. Das fände er fein.
Fuchsspieß? Nein, danke.
Rief darauf der Fuchs. Er grüßte zum Abschied und fluchtete flugs. Wie dumm von dem Fuchs. Er fürchtet sich so. Dabei gibt's ihn doch gar nicht, den Gruffalo. La petite souris continue sa promenade dans le bois très sombre. Un hibou l'aperçoit et la trouve bien appétissante.
Oh, vas-tu, jolie petite souris, viens, je t'invite prendre le thé dans mon arbre.
Merci infiniment, monsieur le hibou, mais je ne peux pas accepter, j'ai rendez-vous avec un Gruffalo.
Un Gruffalo? C'est quoi un Gruffalo?
Comment? Vous connaissez pas le Gruffalo? Et ses genoux ont des bosses. Comment? Oui, son oui, voilà. Et puis, son nez porte une verrue vénéneuse.
Où avez-vous rendez-vous?
Ici, près de l'eau. Et son plat préféré, c'est le hibou au sirop.
Hibou au sirop? Oh, mais je dois partir. Salut, jolie petite souris.
Oh, pauvre vieux hibou, il sait donc pas que ça n'existe pas, le Gruffalo. Oh. The moose Donaldson through the deep milk wood. A snake saw the moose, and the moose looked good.
Waar are you off to, wee broemoes? Come ben for some scran in my rickly log house.
That's most friendly of you, snake. But I know, I'm going to have some scran with a Gruffalo.
Wee a Gruffalo? What's a Gruffalo then?
A Gruffalo? Wait, do you know him? His een orange, his tongue is black, and there's purple jags all over his back.
Where are you meeting him?
By this loch side, and his favourite food is snake, deep fried.
Deep fried steak? Do you think I'm dipping? See you after, wee moose.
And a wee snake slipper. See yon snake, is he daft or no? There's no such thing as a Gruffalo. Oh, but why is this beast with long tusks and big paws and knuckle-sharp teeth in his knuckle-sharp jaws? Hat knotige Knie, eine grässliche Tatze und vorn im Gesicht eine giftige Warze. Ses yeux sont orange, sa langue est toute noire et son dos est couvert d'épines, de quoi? Violet, oui, de piquant, d'affreux piquant violet. Au secours! Oh, zu Hilfe! Oh, Jings! Oh, no, it's a... Oh, thank you.
Well, as you can see, we have some very talented children's laureates, and you have only seen 3 this afternoon. You'll have to come back again to see some of the other ones. We do, in fact, have another laureate in the UK, because not so long ago, a Young People's Laureate for Wales was created. And I'm hoping, yes. And we have greetings to the Congress, which I'm going to read out so the translators can follow it as well. I am very honoured to have become the first Young People's Laureate for Wales. Ours is a country rightly proud of its literary heritage, and it is important that writing for young people is seen as an integral part of our literary world. I hope the creation of an English language laureateship for Wales will stimulate writers to produce new and exciting work in this field, and that the workshops and activities associated with the project will encourage children and young people to read and engage with fiction, poetry, and the great heritage of myth and legend. Reading is a habit learned young, and the books that mean most to us are often those we read in our teens, when our imaginations are eagerly receptive. Literature for this age group should be full of adventure, mystery, and intrigue, and I congratulate Literature Wales on their scheme to bring such work to the public's attention and introduce more of the young people to the delights and solace of reading. Interestingly, since the Children's Laureate was set up in 1999, there have been other countries who, in a sense, have followed on this path. And I hope we've got a list there. What am I doing wrong? Oh, that is the Welsh young laureate there in the back. And then, there we are. So, the countries that we're aware of so far, Australia has just appointed its first ever 2 children's laureates, Alison Lester and Bory Pryor, and they are going to be children's laureates and will act as national and international ambassadors for Australian children's literature. Alison sent a brief message to Julia. Hello to the UK Children's Laureate. I hope you're having a wonderful time being Queen of the Kids. Little does she know. I'm currently at Borroloola, right up in the north of Australia, making books at the school. It was the rodeo on the weekend, so one of our stories is about bull riders and bucking broncos. The kids here have incredible names: Decoden, Beverlida, Exan, Ishamiah, and Zenobia, just to name a few. A huge crocodile called Mr. Bombastic lives in the river, and when it floods in the wet season, he sometimes crosses the road. Best wishes, Alison Lester. Kiss to Julia. So there. And then in Ireland, we have Niamh Sharkey, who was recently appointed as Laureate Nanog, Ireland's Laureate for Children's Literature. And the honour was established to engage young people with high-quality children's literature and underline the importance of children's literature in our cultural and imaginative life. In Sweden, they recently appointed Johan Önninge. I should have checked this pronunciation of that, so apologies if I haven't got that right. Sweden's first reading ambassador for young people. His mission will be to promote reading and to spread awareness about the importance of literature for young people. And in the United States, Walter Dean Myers, National Ambassador for Young People's Literature. The selection criteria included the candidate's contribution to young people's literature and his or her ability to relate them to children. So the idea has taken off, and hopefully it'll spread. And can I thank all our laureates for taking part tonight, and can we wish all the laureates in other parts of the world the very best in their endeavours to promote books and reading to children. Thank you very much.